it's very funny. The other day, meaning about a year or so back, I went to a reunion of my year at Yale, bearing in mind that I was one of the people who joined it halfway through from a small school. But I was quite horrified by how pompous many of the people who were in my year were on meeting them again 30, 40 years later. And I think that the result is that the majority of my friends are people much younger than myself. My wife was considerably younger than me, was also at the AA. And the majority of my friends are probably, the people I really communicate well with, are probably 20 years younger than me. And I feel I have more in common with them than I do with my own contemporaries. And then I'm a late parent of a 19-year-old son, so I listen to the conversation of his friends. I listen to the conversation of my working partner, Gavin, who's 40 years old, and his conversation. And I find that it's more intriguing, and I'm perhaps being surrounded always by people who are younger than you means that the epicenter of your conversation is not your own generation. It's neither is it 20-year-olds. It's somewhere hovering, between the age of about 35 and 60. It's somewhere. And I find I'm most comfortable with people who are in their, say, 50s. Not the 25-year-olds, I'm a little bit scared of. But certainly not the people in their 70s, which I ought to be, you see. And so it's a funny one, and I think it's also the same with one's culture. I'm very English, but I am amused to look at England from the outside, and I'm amused to use the term English rather than British. I'm amused to be very pro-European. I was highly pro-European even before the EU was mooted. And yet I'm fascinated by certain things happening in Asia. I'm interested in being a scavenger of cultural and idea support from wherever it comes. Suddenly something happened in, Nicaragua, which I know nothing about. I would say, okay, why not? It doesn't have to come from the Anglo-Saxon world. It doesn't have to come from the old countries.